your life, even though you haven't seen that goodness lately in your life. God says, I'm testing your faith right now. Look at verse 4, because this is why he's testing that patience. But let patience have its perfect work. God said, I got to test your faith with a fall because I'm perfecting you. You don't even realize it. I'll allow you to fall so that I can perfect your approach in trying times. See, God says too many of you run into your mama and your daddy for when trouble comes in your life. And God says, I'm trying to get you to a place where when trouble comes, you don't run to them first, you run to me. God says, I'm trying to perfect your approach so that when trouble comes, you don't call your best friend, you call me. You don't talk to anybody and everybody about what you're dealing with. You'll come talk to me. God says, until you can get that, I'm going to continue to allow you to experience some of the same trouble. How many can say you've gone through some of the same stuff with the same people over and over again? God says you haven't been perfected yet. And I'm going to keep letting you go through with those same people until you figure out that you need me to help you through it. God is saying, I'm needing somebody in here to understand that there's some people in your life that I've allowed in your life to get on your nerves for a reason. I says, because I'm testing your faith. And every time you slip up and cuss them out, and every time you slip up and give them the business, every time you send them that nasty, nice email, God says you fail again. So I got to put you back in that situation. I got to allow that same person to show up at your cubicle, to show up at your workstation, because I want to see if you're going to cut a fool this time. And God says, until you get it right, I'm going to have this person continually show up in your life, because that's your assignment. You realize that God's allowing that person in your life because he or she is your son. They are looking for hope in their life. And they honestly don't know how to ask for it. So they come to you. But you can't show them hope if you acting a fool like them. You can't show them a better way of doing things if you're doing it the way they do it. Verse 4, James 1 says, but let patience have its perfect work. Why does patience need to have its perfect work? What do I benefit out of this? Because it says that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. God is saying by the time I'm done with you, you're going to have the patience of Job. By the time I keep bringing them same folks in your life each and every day, getting on that same nerve, God says you're going to be a better person because of it. And until you do right by me, until you finish your assignment, until you act like me in that situation instead of acting like you in that situation, I'm going to show you my power in your life by showing you the grace that you need to demonstrate in life. God says by the time I get done with some of you, you'll have the strength to stand and be confident troubling times. Let's look at the fourth fall. The fourth fall is the fall of mercy. This fall, God uses as a means to demonstrate to us his unending mercy. How can a fall be a fall of mercy? This is the fall that God's way of showing us or telling us, I could have taken you out, but my mercy kicked in. This fall is God's way of telling us, I didn't like you before, but because of my mercy, I still shed my son's blood for you, and I'll pull you out of darkness and place you in my marvelous light. Paul is a great example of a person who fell because of God's mercy. Here was Paul as Saul. He was a persecutor of the believers. He was one that loved to persecute those that followed Jesus Christ. And here he was enjoying going after Christians and believers, enjoying stoning them and seeing them put to death. And here he was in Acts 9, verse 1, going down the road of Damascus. He'd even gone to the king and asked for a letter so that if he found anybody going by the way of Jesus Christ, he would bind them in Jerusalem. Verse 3 of Acts 9 says that as he journeyed near Damascus, he suddenly experienced a light shone around him from heaven. And verse 4 says, then he fell. My God. He fell to the ground, and then it says, and heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? This fall of mercy was God's way of not destroying him. This fall of mercy was God's way of correcting him and redirecting him in his life. Some of us ought to be glad that God's mercy kicked in the fall that we experienced, because some of us used to deal drugs. Some of us used to run the streets. Some of us used to jump in bed with people that we weren't married to. Some of us used to do all manner of crazy things, and God allowed trouble in your life, not to hurt you, but trouble in your life so they could correct you and get you back on the path that he wanted you. Some of us need to be thanking God for his grace and his mercy, because without his mercy, we should have died a long time ago. God said, I didn't do it to kill you. I did it to correct you. That's a fall of mercy. Then there's another fall, and that's the fifth fall. That's the fall of grace. The fall of mercy is God's way of not killing you, but correcting you. But this next fall is a very interesting fall. It's the fall of grace. This is the fall that calls upon you to take a hit for the team. All right. This is the fall of humility. This is the fall that takes place for the sake of others. How many have had to sacrifice some things, not for yourself, but for other people? See, go back to our kids that are in here. See, y'all don't understand the sacrifices that your moms and your dads have to make sure you got clothes to put on. Y'all don't understand the sacrifices that we have to make sure that every time you walk into a room and flip a switch, that light's going to come on. You don't consider what it takes to keep that light on. All you know is you have a full expectation that when I walk in the room and flip that switch, the light will come on. Every time I pick up the remote and push that button, the TV ought to come on. And when the TV come on, I fully expect, kids, that the cable's going to be on so that I can be entertained. But you don't understand. Somebody's got to sacrifice. Somebody's got to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning. Somebody's got to get in traffic at 6 a.m. in the morning, go somewhere, drive at least an hour to get where they got to go so that they can go to work, so that when they get back, you can flip that light on, you can turn that cable on, you can put food on your table, you can eat like you want to, you can lay around and do nothing because somebody's made a sacrifice for you. I says that's the fall of grace. And what's interesting about the fall of grace is it's a fall that doesn't get much gratitude. It's a fall that people don't pat you on the back. It's a fall where people don't say, attaboy, good job. The fall of grace, when you fall, that's a lonely place sometimes. Parents be in the closet crying sometimes, figuring out how they're going to keep it on, keep everything going. You get lonely when you're in this fall because you recognize if it had not been for God helping me through this, we wouldn't be making it like we're making it right now. See, when you fall for grace's sake, you experience God in ways many people don't. If people could know what you were really dealing with, their eyes would pop out of their head. That's what the fall of grace does. Isaiah 53:7 says that he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was led as a lamb to slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. God says, when trouble comes and I allow you to fall because of grace, I need you to keep your mouth closed and not complain about what you're dealing with, but tap into that inner strength that's in you to say, God, everything's going to be all right because you got me here. Because you got me here, I know that you're going to bring me out. See, when you fall because of God's grace, you understand that I got to lean on God just that much harder. I got to trust him even stronger. I got to read his word. I got to speak his word. And I got to believe that everything's going to be all right because God, you are my Father and I'm your son or your daughter. Fall of grace teaches you to hold your tongue and to hold your frustration inside. Back when you wanted to break something, God said you can't do that this time because my grace is at work in your life. Paul says, I approached God 3 times. And God says, my grace is sufficient. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, when you fall because of God's grace, you learn to tap into his grace. Yes. And his grace sustains you. When you look back and like, I don't even know how we did it. No, you didn't do it. It was God that was doing it because of his grace. Let's look at the sixth fall. The sixth fall that comes is the fall because of selfish desires or sin.